Welcome to Release Readiness Live. I'm Ella Marks. I'm on the admin relations team here at Salesforce, and I'm your host for today's broadcast. We're broadcasting from our home studios all this week to share some new features in the Spring 21 release. After our product team shares the highlights, we'll spend some time taking questions on the air. We'll be monitoring both the Release Readiness Trailblazer community and Twitter, so post your questions as soon as you can and use the hashtag SalesforceLive. I recommend posting your longer, more detailed questions in the community where the conversation can continue after the webcast. If we don't get to your question on the air, we'll be sure to follow up with you within a few days. All of our webcasts will be available on the Salesforce Live website for later viewing. Since we may be covering the roadmap, we'll be making some forward-looking statements, so please make your purchasing decisions based on currently available functionality. Now, let's get started with Experience Cloud and meet our product managers.
Thanks, Ella, for that introduction. A big hello and thank you to everyone taking time out of your busy schedules at home or at work, or maybe a staycation to join us. My name is David Green. I'm a product manager with Experience Cloud, and I'm thrilled to kick off this session of the Spring 21 release readiness. Now, some of you at home might be asking why we combine Experience Cloud and B2B commerce together into this session, and it's a great question. Here at Salesforce, we're on a mission to build world-class digital capabilities powering every omni-channel touchpoint that you have with your customers and your partners, from websites and help centers to portals, mobile apps, email, and of course, commerce storefronts. All built on the Experience Cloud and our digital experience platform seamlessly connected to the Salesforce Customer 360. So Arnaban, if you're ready, let's go ahead and kick things off with what's new in the world of B2B commerce.
Thank you, David. I'm Anirban Bartley, Vice President of Product for Salesforce B2B Commerce. I'm excited to share our latest product innovations in the Spring 21 release. Before I get started on the new features for B2B commerce in the Spring 21 release, let's review our roadmap themes. These themes are the guiding principles we go by when it comes to roadmap and selecting and prioritizing features.
First one is speed to market. We focus on adding capabilities that help speed up implementation and reduce the time to manage storefronts. Building upon the connected, trusted Salesforce platform is another key theme. We are laser focused on providing a unified view of customers, not only from commerce, but also from their touchpoints in sales, service, marketing clouds, etc. And through the experience and intelligence team, we make sure to provide a buyer experience that's easy for them to do business with you, not just for your customers, but also for your internal sales reps and service agents. We have a lot to cover today, so let's jump right in. I'll start with new features of B2B Commerce on Classic, and then cover B2B Commerce on Lightning Experience. In the 4.13 release of B2B Commerce on Classic, two key features are cart scale and the Lightning Web Component header. In B2B Commerce, it's not uncommon to see orders with hundreds, sometimes even thousands of products in a single transaction. Cart scale is our answer to handle such large-scale orders. With the new cart scale feature, B2B admins and developers now have the ability to do cart reprice and place order processing asynchronously to scale for such large-sized orders. The enhanced cart page design includes a new two-column design and product search within the cart. But we also know that there are going to be smaller-sized carts as well. With that in mind, we provide a cart size threshold to dynamically switch cart processing to a synchronous mode for smaller-sized carts. The second feature is the Lightning Web Component header. We have updated the B2B Commerce Lightning header component to unify the Visualforce storefront experience with pages built using Lightning Experience. The header is available in Experience Builder for B2B admins and developers to add to Lightning Experience pages. It uses B2B Commerce Classic configuration settings and supports effective account and locale switcher functionalities. That means you only need to set it up once in B2B Commerce Classic, and the header will have the same look and feel when used in a Lightning Experience page. The code for the header components will be made available to customers via a public GitHub repo. Let's do a quick demo of what the cart scale and the new Lightning Web Components buyer experience look like. Here I'm logged onto the Capricorn Coffee manufacturing site as Randall Hopper, who buys products for his store. This site is built using the new Lightning Web Component header and is built using a Lightning Experience page. Here he can see different categories and the menus under the My Account icon, as well as the cart details. Before he places an order, he remembers that he needs to order some more coffee beans. He wants to add more dark roast. Now he's on the Capricorn Coffee product list page, which is built on a Visualforce page. He can continue shopping here. With the header providing the unified experience between the Lightning Experience page he was just on and the Visualforce page he is on now, the brand voice is carried through, and to Randall, the transition appears seamless. Now Randall adds 10 bags of the Colombian dark roast that his customers rave about and goes to cart. On the new cart scale page, he sees a 2-column design and notices that he can now search for products. He quickly wants to check how many Colombian dark roast he's ordering in total, so he types in Colombian. There are only 15 of them in the cart. He changes the quantity to 20 and can quickly save the change. But it's been a while since he built his cart, so he is prompted to refresh the cart so his prices are up to date before placing the order. And good thing he did that, because it found a product that's no longer available. All unavailable products are surfaced to the top. Randall removes the product, and now that the cart is up to date, he'll be able to check out. This concludes the short demo of the updated Lightning Web Component header and the cart scale features. Now let's look at B2B commerce on Lightning Experience. In the Spring 21 release, we have 3 features that are going from pilot to being generally available: guest browsing, variant products, and wish lists. With guest browsing, customers can search and browse for products without being authenticated. This capability is also important for SEO, as sitemaps can now be generated for search engines to crawl product catalogs and drive search traffic to storefronts. With variant products, combinations of products based on different attributes can be easily modeled using variation-guided setup in Commerce app. Search groups the results for variation products, and the product detail page shows the different combinations of a variant product. Wish lists now allow you to display up to 3 fields from the product record on My List page. Buyers can now also sort the items on their wish lists. We also improved error handling so that buyers can see which items on the wish lists are no longer available. Let's look at a couple of the new features of the Spring 21 release. Reference Storefront with sample data is a phenomenal way of allowing store managers and admins a quick and easy way to see how a store works without having to set up required data such as products, pricing, entitlements, etc. At a click of a button, you can set up a pre-configured sample store and then use that store as a starting point to customize it for your business. The new shipping option component allows buyers to review and see the shipping delivery option selected for an order. This new component is available for use on the checkout summary page and order confirmation page. Last but not least, we also published reference components for product lists, search results, product detail, and cart pages that you can use as a starting point for customizing those components rather than having to build them from scratch. There is also now an option to do checkout synchronously to meet the needs of customers whose order sizes are on a smaller side and who are looking for faster checkout processing. The reference components and the synchronous checkout templates are available in our Quick Start Git repo in the link shown below. Now let's take a look at these new features in a demo of B2B commerce on Lightning Experience. Lauren Boyle, who owns a chain of coffee shops, is in a hurry to buy some replacement coffee carafes. She quickly visits the Capricorn Coffee manufacturing store. With guest browsing set up, the site allows her to browse through the catalog without needing Lauren to log in first. She navigates to the accessories categories. The price of the carafe seems higher than expected. She remembers that her contract with Capricorn Coffee entitles her to discounted prices. She logs into the site. She navigates back to the accessories list page and notices her contracted prices. She then remembers that she had already created a wish list for the items she needs. She navigates to her wish list. The list has everything she needs. Notice that the custom fields like height of a carafe are included in the list. She wants to double check the splendid Sumatran dark roast bean bag to review the details again. This is an example of a variation product. Grind and bag size are the different attributes of this variation product. She's satisfied with the details and can now go ahead with placing the order. We'll skip that part and move over to the setup part of these new features. I'm now logged in to a Salesforce org as Eric Ware, the B2B admin for Capricorn Coffee. Eric is in the Commerce app, the command center for all merchandising activities. Let's look at the setup of the variation product, Sumatran dark roast bean, that Lauren had ordered. Eric navigates to Product Workspace and sorts the products by its type. He clicks on Splendid Sumatran dark roast bean bag. He clicks on the Variations tab to see the different product variations of the product. Grind and bag size are the attributes of this variation product. He can create new variations, clone variations, or edit them here. If there was a situation where Eric needed to define a brand new variation product, he can set that up easily from the new variation product guided setup under the Commerce Setup page. This guided setup walks Eric through setting up variation parent products. The first step would be the variation fields, grind and bag size in the case of Sumatran coffee bean. The next step would be the different values for the attributes created in step 1. And finally, the third step is creating the variation parent product. The visual indicator helps you to check the progress and what the remaining steps are. Now that we have seen the setup of variation products, let's check out Experience Builder to show you how Eric can use the new features to add custom fields from the product object to the wish list and the new shipping option component. Eric navigates to the Capricorn B2B store and Experience Builder from there. Then he navigates to the My Lists page. In the My List component menu, under the product data section, you can now add up to 3 fields from product record. Here you see standard and custom fields in the product record to add to the wish list display. Now that we have seen the My List page, let's switch to the order confirmation page. Here you can see the new delivery method component has already been added to the page layout. This component is also available on the checkout summary page. Now that we have seen how Eric configures the store experience, let's see how easy creation of B2B stores is with the spring release. Imagine if Capricorn Coffee bought Salesforce B2B Commerce recently and Eric was tasked to set up the store. Eric is now back on Commerce App's home. He clicks on Create a Store, selects the B2B Commerce template. He gives it a name Espresso. This is going through the process in the background to create everything needed for the store. Well, almost everything. Before this release, he would still need to set up products, categories, etc. Now, with this release, at a click of a button, a set of sample products, categories, price books, product media, store settings, entitlement policies, etc. that a B2B commerce store needs to function properly will be auto-populated. This is a fantastic starting point for Eric. He now has a fully functional store that he can use to set up his store.
And that concludes the B2B Commerce with Lightning Experience demo. Back to you, David.
Thanks, Arnavan, for taking us through everything that our B2B customers can get their hands on with the new spring release and setting an insanely high bar for us to follow. Over the next few minutes, I want to take all of you through some of the highlights our customers can get their hands on with the Experience Cloud Spring 21 release across trust, availability, monitoring, mobile publisher, and of course, CRM connected experiences.
Now, as all of you know, trust is our number one priority, and we've been working hard to make sure your data is always protected. With the Spring 21 release, Salesforce is permanently removing the edit, delete, view all, and modify all permissions for the guest user across all custom objects and standard objects. This is the work that started last year that we're continuing into this year. To make sure that you're minimizing the impact on your org and any of your customers, we strongly recommend that you check the effects of this change in a test environment prior to the Spring 21 release. To test, it's pretty simple. Go in and you can simply turn off the edit, delete, modify all, and view all guest user object permissions against your guest user profiles, permission sets, and permission set groups. Now, we've got some great self-service resources available today that hopefully many of you have taken advantage of. But if you still have questions, please do remember that the entire product team is actively monitoring our Securing Experience Cloud group up on the Trailblazer community, or go ahead and sign up for one of our recurring office hours. You can get all of that information as well as direct links to all of the resources here out on the Trailblazer community. Again, Securing Experience Cloud. As our customers continue to use Experience Cloud to build mission-critical sites, portals, and apps, you've asked us to make it easier to declaratively control every aspect of the end-user experience and to automate every aspect of your testing, from integration to monitoring. Well, I'm excited to say with the Spring 21 release that we have 2 pilots available so all of our customers and partners can start taking advantage of today. The first pilot is the ability to declaratively configure the page your customers will see in case of any potential outage, even the ability to surface an email to case component for business continuity. Second is the opportunity to leverage an integration we have with TestIM through Experience Cloud. With TestIM, it allows our customers to define tests for business critical workflows in their sites, scheduled to continuously run these tests and monitor the results, ultimately giving you full visibility and control over your site experience. If you're interested, please reach out to your customer success manager, account team, or find us up on the Trailblazer community. Now, what about your customers and partners that are always on the go and expect their experiences to be there right with them? Well, with this release, we're also supercharging Mobile Publisher for Experience Cloud. Customers can not only now build apps for the iPhone and Android, but are also extending that same functionality to the iPad. And with the GA announcement of our Playground app, it's easier than ever for every customer to take Mobile Publisher for a quick test drive, preview and evaluate the in-app experience without having to go through and purchase a license first. All, of course, connected back to your CRM, like Salesforce files. Last but certainly not least, with the Spring 21 release, we want your connected experiences to work for you and for your IT teams. And that's why I'm happy to announce the support for custom domains and sandbox orgs is now going GA. The beta support for Lightning Message Service, and the added support for addressable record actions in Experience Cloud and Experience Builder. As you can see, it's another release chock full of features fueled by your feedback and designed to help all of you, customers and our partners, deliver trusted and connected experiences across every device to your customers and your partners.
But wait, we're not done just yet. So let me pass the baton over to our fellow PM, Zach, coming straight to us from an undisclosed location to tell you even more about what's in this Experience Cloud Spring 21 release.
Thanks, David and Anirban. My name is Zach Hotoff, and I am also a product manager on the newly minted Experience Cloud. Welcome to my apartment. I guess I have officially disclosed my location. Make yourself comfortable. You'll be joining me on a cold San Francisco day as I show you all of the latest Spring 21 enhancements in Salesforce CMS, as well as our latest innovation, the Build Your Own Lightning Web Runtime template for experiences. Let's get right into it. Many of you have been loving the ease of building your Experience Builder sites using CMS content. However, as soon as you exported your site from Sandbox and imported it into production, all of those experience to CMS connections were lost. All that changes this release. With our new durable content export and import functionality, You can now export from Sandbox and import to production both your experience and CMS workspace seamlessly without losing any references. We've also created a brand new component property, which allows your custom Lightning Web components to declaratively reference CMS content. This one I will be sure to show you in our next demo. For over 2 years, our teams have been hard at work to bring you one of our latest, greatest innovations. This spring 21, I am excited to announce the GA of our brand new Build Your Own Lightning Web Runtime template. With incredible page speed performance and enhanced developer productivity, you'll be able to build everything from custom portals and microsites to marketing websites, all powered by Lightning Web Runtime, our brand new framework using 100% LWC technology. But I'm sure you're all waiting for an amazing demo, so let's jump right in. Today we'll be playing the part of a digital experience team within the fictional utility company Salesforce Energy. We have just received news from risk management that there'll be outages across multiple regions of our service area, Salesforcia, and we've been assigned with communicating these potential outages to customers. Welcome to our Salesforce Energy site. And you guessed it, it's running on our performant Lightning Web Runtime platform and built using the new Build Your Own LWR template. As you can see, we allow you to build that pixel-perfect experience with the design system of your choice. Now we will jump into the Experience Builder to create that new outages page. Here in the Experience Builder, what you see is what you get. On the home page, each part of the page is built out in custom, reusable, drag-and-droppable LWC components. Some of them are even using Salesforce CMS content to provide additional flexibility and customization directly from inside the Experience Builder. Let's go ahead and create a brand new page. We have the option to create a standard page, an object page for record list and details, or even a CMS content page for repeatable content. We'll create a new standard page and name it Outages. This will create a new blank page for us in the Experience Builder. Next, we will add the page to our custom navigation menu through the navigation menu editor. If I edit our default nav, I can add a new menu item. We'll call it Outages. Point it to our new Outages page and make it publicly available. As soon as I hit save, our custom nav menu will include the Outages page on next publish. Let's now begin building our page using one of the most powerful admin features, flexible layouts. Here you can create multiple responsive regions with various customizations, including the number of columns per row and the column distribution. Now that we've built our page, we will drag in our reusable custom components from our component palette. First, I will drag in that same hero component we saw on the home page. I can update the content through our brand new CMS content picker and completely change the component without any code needed. That's pretty incredible for a custom component. Next, I will drag our out-of-the-box rich content editor component into the other flexible layout column. I will go ahead and edit the content, and starting this release, we now support adding in images directly from Salesforce CMS. We'll select our outages map and let people know to find their district by writing below. If we need to update this at a later time, the content admin can do this all from CMS without needing to enter the builder. We will also quickly create a tile menu with the various regions we serve. Using another one of our navigation menus, we'll associate our locations data. The tile menu comes with various rich customizations for the overlay layout, text, shadow, banner, and more. Finally, we are ready to publish our site and deploy it to production. With Lightning Web Runtime, we optimize the performance of the site during publish by statically generating parts of the site to scale the product across a global content delivery network, or CDN. Thankfully, we published our site ahead of time for this demo, so no need to wait. Let's check out our final work. Looks good to go. The people of Salesforcia will be quite happy to have this information before the potential outages. Well, it turns out we did such a good job, other regions want to use the same content and experience we used for our Salesforce customers. So let's export our content in Salesforce CMS. Using the power of Experience Bundle and our brand new content export in Salesforce CMS, we are able to export our site and our content, including all referenced images, to share with other Salesforce Energy orgs and deployments. What you've just seen are the latest Spring 21 features and innovations across B2B commerce and Experience Cloud. Anirban showed you the power of adapting B2B commerce for guest users and introducing product variants like sizing and colors. David walked you through our improvements with Mobile Publisher and gave you an update on our latest security features. And lastly, I showcased our innovations for powering content between Salesforce CMS deployments and the brand new Lightning Web Runtime Experience template for building mission-critical sites and custom portals. And that's it from me. Now over to Ella for questions.
Thanks, Zach, and thank you to all the folks out there who are joining us today. And welcome to the live Q&A portion of our broadcast. If you haven't asked your question yet, you can still post your questions on Twitter or in the Release Readiness Trailblazer community using the hashtag SalesforceLive. We have a few questions coming in, so let's dive in. Anirban, I'm going to start with you. The first question that I have is, how are existing B2B commerce customers on Classic using the Lightning Experience Edition?
Yeah, so there are a couple of ways that our existing customers are using Lightning. First of all, every customer of B2B has access to both Classic and Lightning. So what we are seeing right now, existing customers, when they're creating new storefronts, let's say it's a new storefront for a different geo or for a different business unit, they're essentially starting to use Lightning for those new storefronts. That's the most common way that we see existing customers use Lightning today.
Oh, great. And can you share some insights on the adoption of Lightning Experience now that there's been 3 releases since its launch in summer 2020?
Absolutely. It's been a phenomenal adoption from our customers. As you know, we launched Lightning with summer release, and we have had 2 releases since then. So we have had about 47 plus implementations going on at this point of time. There are 26 active live storefronts on Lightning at this point, which is, again, think about it from a time frame standpoint, pretty short, within the last 6 months. Phenomenal adoption from our customers. A lot of it from our new customers, many from existing customers as well.
Great, thank you. David, I'm going to go to you next with a few questions. The first question is, where exactly do I go to register for the weekly office hours on guest user security?
It's a great question. So I think for everyone that has any questions around some of the guest security changes that have been taking place over the last few releases, and certainly with Spring 21, head out to the Trailblazer community. We have a group dedicated to securing a guest user. In there, that is where we'll have a link to all of the information, including how to register for office hours that are taking place on a weekly basis. But that's also where we have the entire product team and a lot of our experts, including, quite frankly, some very knowledgeable customers and partners that are in helping answer questions in live real time along the way.
Great, thanks. We've seen a couple of guest user questions come in, so make sure everybody take note of those weekly office hours. David, next question for you is, are there any plans to make the mobile publisher apps feel more native in the future?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the good answer is yes. So I think with a lot of our customers, the experiences we're seeing them build on Mobile Publisher have been amazing to date, but we want to give you guys the power to create even more kind of native experiences that your customers are looking for. So at this point in time, we actually have a pilot that is running for customers looking to use the native iOS navigation menu. And over the next few releases, we'll actually be announcing some additional pilots coming up, as well as some GA support. So over the next year, look for a lot of great progress on that front, as we're going to continue to introduce more native capabilities, both on iOS and Android, for that great snappy look and feel that all of your users are expecting.
That sounds great. Thank you, David. My final question for you for right now is, will there be a service not available page supported for Aura communities?
Absolutely, yes. So in Safe Harbor, that is something that we are looking to roll out actually with the upcoming summer release. So again, we have the current version for the beta and the pilot up and running for our new Lightning Web Runtime based sites. And I won't steal too much of Zach's thunder on that one. And we'll look to bring that same functionality and make that available to all of our existing Aura Lightning-based customers, again, Safe Harbor with the summer release around the corner.
Great. Thank you. Zach, we'll move to you next. What's the difference between LWC and LWR? Do I need to rewrite my LWC components for this new platform?
Yeah, and we get that question a lot, and so I'm glad it was asked. Yeah, we're not good with acronyms, and I'll just start right there. Right, we're adding in another one, LWR, and really what it is a brand new platform. So the point of that being, you can take those LWC components, build them on Aura or build them on LWR, and both of those components should be interoperable between both platforms. What that allows our customers and our partners to do is to continue developing LWC, even if you don't want to use the LWR platform yet, and eventually move those over when the time seems right. So there's a lot of options in terms of kind of building your components without having to buy fully into the LWR platform and bringing in when your customer or when your company feels it's the right time to do so.
Great. And then another question on LWR for you. For LWR on Experience Cloud, it looked like a lot of that was very custom. Do I need a development team in order to build on LWR?
That is a good question as well. So one of the areas where we're starting is really with focusing on giving a lot of developer productivity back to our customers. And so, yes, I do have to say, LWR is going to start as a very developer-driven product, but as it grows and as we kind of grow with it, expect a lot more declarative functionality to come back in. Right now, today, it's a very much a clicks and code kind of platform. So your developers can build out, these very complex components, but have the same properties available within them, so that when your declarative users come in and actually drag and drop and build the site, that allows them to kind of get things going without having to reach out to a developer in order to build the site that they want and the look and feel of it.
Great. Thanks, Zach. And final question for you in this round. Your demo had a lot of CMS focus. Can I also still build CRM focused portals?
Absolutely. We are a platform, first and foremost. So while yes, we're kind of leveraging CMS to show off the power of kind of how closely we can build CMS with LWR, we still support UI API and Apex and allow you to build those custom portals that still connect back to your CRM. So you can build those business process flows and still get the same great performance and scale gains that I was showing inside of my kind of more marketing or CMS focused demo.
Great. Thank you, Zach. Let's move on to some questions from the community. I have a question here from Kelly Todd. Thanks for posting your question. I'm worried about the upcoming security changes to sites in the spring release. My sandbox was not updated. Is there a way to test out the sites beforehand to make sure everything will function properly? I think everything was good, would just like some guidance. And I think, David, that one is for you.
Yeah, no, and thanks for the question, Kelly. So first and foremost, let's make sure either through the Trailblazer community, you can reach out directly to me or through your success manager. At this point in time, all sandboxes should be updated and available as kind of the first line of defense from a testing perspective. So if we're looking at a sandbox that has not been updated, let's make sure that we can get that fixed for you. And then I think the second piece will just be to kind of reinforce the community and the office hours. So if there are some specific questions around how you may have implemented custom Apex logic or even controllers in the past around guest user for your sites, weekly office hours, and again, that group up on Trailblazer would be the best place to answer that question. We'll hopefully get some folks in there. And then if we need to go deeper, office hours is a great option.
Great. Thanks, David. And Kelly had another question too, actually, about guest user changes being implemented. It sounds like that may also be a great thing to post and bring to office hours there.
Yeah, and I think we realized that over the years there's been a lot of custom logic that some of our customers have built around guest users. So we want to make sure that we're able to go very deep into your implementation to give you the best possible guidance that's going to make sure that you're able to just keep things up and running seamlessly without any issues.
Great. So Kelly, make sure to check out those office hours. Our next question comes from Jerry, who asks, how to replace view all permission on a custom object on user with the guest user license? Sharing rules, because my guest user needs to see all the records in that custom object.
That is a great question. Figured guest user was going to be a hot topic for Spring 21. So there's actually a few options that we have on the table. Again, I think for this one, I would love to actually have that question out on the Trailblazer community. I think there's probably quite a few other customers that I'm going to sure will have a similar question, and love to engage with you there. I think that there's a couple of different potential paths that we can take a look at depending on what type of interaction beyond potentially just a read all you want on that custom object.
Great, thanks, David. Our next question comes from Anne Lane. Is there an update on connecting CMS with Marketing Cloud content and knowledge articles? Would be great to be able to access all content without having to put each one in multiple places.
Yeah, and actually, I'll jump in on that one. I do want to just target kind of the Marketing Cloud one. I think that's a great question as well for the Trailblazer community. But with Marketing Cloud, we're doing a lot of work to connect that same Salesforce CMS content back into Pardot and allow your emails to be enriched with that same content you're using to build inside of your Experience Cloud site. So a lot of great work going on there to bring not only that Salesforce CMS content directly with like a white glove approach to Marketing Cloud, but I also want to call out that there is a headless approach to it so that you can actually target that content outside in any external location, including Heroku. So that's something that's coming as well.
Great. Thank you, Zach. Our next question, Anirban, I think this is for you, coming from Elvira. This is for Lightning B2B. Is there a way to mass insert product variations into the system at the moment for the scenarios when you have thousands of them?
Yeah, great question. I do think that you could use data loader. Data loader is used for updating any kinds or inserting any kinds of products. Variation products happens to be one type of product. But if you think that you're running into some issues, I'd love to understand that a little bit more through our Trailblazer community as well. But data loader would be the way to do it. Of course, you could have pre-integrations built out as well if you're syncing your product data with a third-party system, which a lot of our customers do as well.
Great. And another question came in from Goldie about variations, who's wondering, I'm curious how variations relates to or differs from CPQ. It looks like you are possibly using the native products and price books. Can you say a little more on this?
Absolutely. And I'm glad to see some B2B questions come up. So variations, under the covers, the entity models that we use are the same exact entity model that were used by all of the different Salesforce applications, including CPQ. So we use product to, we use price book entities as well. So the variation product is built on top of product two. We extended that entity. It's available to all of the different applications, including CPQ. So absolutely, it's one and the same entities.
Great, thank you. Our next question comes from Michelle Chu. Is there documentation or step-by-step out there on how to update the community profiles for Spring 21?
I'm guessing that this is probably to me, and it's probably another guest user profile related question.
There's actually a follow-up. Yes, it is a guest user question. Okay,
great. So I will say, so we have, I think the team has actually put together some great how-tos and kind of step-by-steps from a documentation perspective, best practices. Again, I would say the best place to go to link out to all of that is our group up on the Trailblazer community. So we do have some best practices, including a little bit of how-to step-by-step that we link off to both in PDF form as well as kind of our standard H&T documentation. And then, of course, in addition to that, if you've already taken a look at it and you have some questions, love to get a post there. Feel free to directly mention me, and I will make sure that myself or one of my colleagues can jump on that and help you get going in the right direction.
Great. Thanks, David. And it looks like Michelle's post is there in the community. So Michelle, make sure to tag David on that.
Yep.
And we'll work to get you a longer response in some of those resources. Switching over to Twitter for a moment. Looks like we have a question from Maximilian who's saying, hey, Salesforce experts, what's the best practice to mass relate CMS images to my LB2B store products?
Yeah, so I'll take this one. LB2B is B2B on Lightning experience. So essentially, the question is, if you have the media assets in CMS and you're connecting that to product, for folks who don't know, B2B Commerce on Lightning essentially uses CMS for all of the assets, product assets, as well as for storefronts. So there are a few different ways you can do that. Right now, it's going to be manual in terms of using data loader, again, to load those assets into CMS and connecting them to the product APIs. Over time, over the next few releases, we're also looking at authoring APIs provided by CMS that could be used for automating some of the updates that happens on the product assets that are used by B2B Lightning. But for now, it's going to be a little bit of a manual effort to upload those images as you build up the catalog.
Great. Thank you. Our next question from Twitter is around export content functionality. Is the export content functionality only possible with CMS content? How about knowledge articles?
Yeah, as of today, the export content is targeted just to the workspaces that you're building for Salesforce CMS. That's a pretty direct question. If there's any more I can add to that, happy to answer it as well further in the Trailblazer community.
Great. It sounds like the Trailblazer community is a super great resource for folks, especially for their kind of more deep questions about their org specifics and things like that. I'm looking over questions here to see if we have any more coming in. Doing a quick double check. As I'm looking, I guess I'll put this question out to everyone. We've talked about a few resources. Are there any other resources that maybe you haven't mentioned today that would be great for folks to check out?
I can go first on this one. So absolutely take a look at our documentation. Our documentation includes tutorials on how do you build out those storefronts on B2B Lightning. That's one area that we are focusing on. But more so than that, as we think about our products and think about building the products out, a lot of the things we're building it into the product itself. We talked about variation products. I have that in the demo as well. The guided setup is important. And the notion behind that is for many of these things, our thought process is that you shouldn't need to look at a documentation. We should be able to provide you with that guidance right within the product. And that's a variation is a great example of that on how do we provide that guided setup experience to the administrator.
And I just also want to mention for all of the customers who've been joining us on the Lightning Web Runtime pilot, it's been quite a journey, but in the next week, as we go to our general availability, you'll start seeing all of that great documentation that we've built for that pilot moving into H&T, as well as best practices on how to get started to kind of build those great high performance, high scale experiences on top of Experience Cloud.
I'll throw one more in the third and final one, which is for all of our customers that are building any type of experience on top of Experience Cloud. LearnExperienceCloud.com is another great resource that we have that is actively managed directly by our product team and our success group. Out there, you will find a lot of different kind of best practices, blogs, how-tos, that really try and get into some specific examples of implementations beyond just kind of the general product setup. So that's another great resource for anyone out there that I always encourage everybody to go check out as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks, David, Zach, Anirban. Thank you, everybody tuning in for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. If you are still posting questions, don't worry. We'll try and follow up with you in the next few days. And remember, all of our webcasts are going to be available on the Salesforce Live website for later viewing. We're here all week, so please come back and join us again for the next session. Later today, we'll be sharing commerce highlights from the Spring 21 release. So grab a coffee, grab a snack. I know that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see you on our next broadcast. I can't wait to hear how you're using our new features to innovate. So let's keep the conversation going in the Trailblazer community, where all of our Trailblazers meet to be release ready. So we'll see you next time on Release Readiness Live.